What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, I want to talk about the upcoming overhaul to ranked play because we are less than a week away from it, which is very, very exciting. And to me, the big thing about this is the fact that it is going to consolidate the meta of the game in a positive way, I would say, because the way that I'm looking at it now, obviously with the league caps being removed, and your league and I guess your rating really just being more not cosmetic, but it's just a number, right? It's just more so to show how far up or down the rankings you are. You'll be able to play at any level with any cards that you want. And what that means is that we get rid of all of the metas that were, dominating in bronze and silver and even in gold, right? That maybe didn't translate as well at the higher levels. And, what I mean by that is, back then people, the meta in bronze would be, in the previous modern format would be like Lamacron, for example. And the meta even now is probably a lot of gladiator cards. But, for me playing in gold, I love spamming gladiator cards. Gladiator cards are not as powerful. And I'm sure it's the same up in Diamond as well, which means that for newer players coming in, or even just players that are at the lower levels now that maybe want to try and rank up, what's going to be fascinating to watch is you'll be able to just go and learn the strategies of the best players in the game and actually be able to implement them on day one, right? And so, I'll give a shout out to the People's Guild podcast. They do their battle royale. Stever, Bulldog, they all put together really positive, and Tails, of course. But didn't want to leave anybody out. I'm sorry if I do, but and there's a lot of other streamers out there. So now I'm just getting myself into a hole here. But my whole point is that there's a lot of streamers out there that put together solid, meta, and they talk about strategy, especially at the higher levels. And now you can come in and it's like, okay, I can watch these players, I can get the strategy, and then when I start, I'm able to just dominate through bronze and silver, right? There's not the frustration of being like, oh yeah, I saw this person talking about a strategy here, and I thought it was really cool, so I got started in the game, and then I ran into bronze, and it was just an absolute mess, and I lost interest, and I left the game. Now you can come in, and you'll be able to just dominate from the get-go, right? So there will have to be obviously an understanding of leveling up the cards, but now I think it actually makes way more sense because nothing is limited. You just look and see, all right, it's not a matter of if I'm in gold or if I'm in silver. It's like, do I want to get this ability unlocked, or do I want to get this little stat buff or debuff, whatever it is one of my summoners or units has. If you decide to do that, well, then all of a sudden your card becomes just a little bit more competitive. And ultimately, I do think that that's going to be something that's really positive for the player experience overall, and specifically for newer players coming in. So with the metas kind of consolidating into one, it's not going to be this whole thing of all right, if I'm playing in bronze, I need to make sure that I have XYZ cards. If I'm playing in silver, right, I need to make sure I have XYZ cards. Because I do think we're going to get to a point where maybe this could allow some casual players to come in where you don't need to have and own all the cards. And hopefully, actually, if the game is successful in any kind of way, we get to a point where people are not able to have every single card out there. So it then comes down to okay, what are the cards that are absolutely crucial to the overall meta at the highest levels? Because if you can get those cards and you can start playing with even just a couple of max level cards, to me that's going to represent the ability to jump levels, jump rank relatively quickly. So overall, I'm really, really excited about this change, and I think it'll add a fantastic layer to the the strategy content that a lot of streamers will put out. And I think that's really important because for the most part, people who are making content about this game, myself included, we tend to talk at the higher levels, right? What is the gameplay like? And I might even be the only player who's playing in gold. I think a lot of the other streamers out there are probably playing in Diamond Plus with max level decks. So if you're a new player coming in, it's a little difficult to okay, understand that, and then on top of that, take the strategies, go into bronze, and then just get absolutely murdered because the bronze strategy might be completely different. Or as it stands right now, you just get dominated by gladiator cards that you don't have yet because you're on day one, week one. And so now you're able to come in and just be like, you know what? If I want to fight up against these gladiators, which are probably only max for bronze or max for silver or whatever the case is, let me just get some max level cards. And that's where I think things could be really exciting and really, refreshing for folks that come in, or for people that want to just play at the higher levels and kind of stretch a little bit. And that's going to be the other part of this that I think is going to be really important too. It will allow people to stretch just because you have no choice now, right? Before, I was stretching into diamond because I did have some max level cards, but now it's like the encouragement of like stretching is there, and if my rating is good enough, and we'll have to see how the rating all shakes out in the beginning, but based on that, it's like, well, maybe I will be stretching and playing more diamond players, even though there's no real thing is like gold or diamond. I may end up playing more players that have higher level diamond cards or max level cards versus gold level cards. But ultimately, this to me represents something that's really positive. It's going to consolidate the strategy down. And while it's good to have like maybe a bunch of different metas in the game, you don't want one single meta to dominate. What I didn't like is that there were like different metas at every level, and that seemed to create this like claustrophobic nature, especially in the lower levels, bronze and silver. That's just going to be completely gone now, because you can take the top tier strategies, and if you're willing to get the cards, or you're willing to like create new strategies at the higher levels, right, and just work on something, even if it's max level cards, you're going to be able to dominate. So I'm really excited about this. We are less than 7 days away, and I just want to share this thought with you because it's something that I think is going to be really positive, considering all of the really good things that are happening around the space right now. Obviously, crypto is pumping, Bitcoin looks good, and the Killer Whales reception so far, or the episode to the Killer Whales reception, was pretty solid. So that is all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, how you're thinking through this and what your plan overall is. But that is all I got. I'll catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.